Okay, call the meeting to order at 7. First is the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is right back here tonight. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, the approval of minutes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
I'll second. Motion made by Mr. Brzezinski, second by Albert to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Ms. McConnell?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Passes 5-0. Next, the approval of claims.
I make a motion to approve claims.
Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to approve the claims. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. McConnell?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Passes, Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next on the agenda is the police department bid opening. We'll open these and read them. Afterwards, we'll give them to one of the members of the clerk's office. Any of the contractors want to go in and review them after they've been handed in. We will do that. We will not award tonight. We will give the bids for advisement by the engineer for review. And we will have a meeting on the 22nd, which is a week from tomorrow, at 4 p.m. here.
You're going to be here.
We won't make it like the Academy Awards where we read the wrong winner. Okay, this quote is from Bella's Construction, LLC. Price of the total on the bid schedule. Price of the total project is $484,214. The deduct for not finishing the lower level is $74,223. The additional cost for the metal roof is $24,975. The deduct to replace the brick only with siding is $13,700. And the total of all bid prices, unit price work is $439,758. I'm reading too fast. Anybody wants me to stop or say something? This is from Berglund Construction Company. Total project cost is $557,500. The deduct for not finishing the lower level is $62,915. The additional for the metal roof is $21,261. The deduct for the brick with the siding is $1,948. Next is R. Yoder Construction. Total cost is $439,600. deduct for not finishing the lower level is $38,600. Additional cost for the metal roof is $4,000. And the deduct for the brick is $7,700. I hope I don't have to keep opening envelopes here. It's not a cruel joke or anything. This is from Jay Schaffner Construction. Total project cost, $493,757. The deduct for not finishing the lower level, $40,929. The additional cost for the metal roof, $21,379. And the deduct for the brick is $7,300. Next is from Gibson Lewis. Total cost, $598,200. The deduct for the finishing the lower level is $72,500. The additional cost for the metal roof is $20,900. And the brick deduct is $5,100. This is from Larson Danielson. Total project cost, $513,255. The deduct for the lower level is $62,705. The additional for the metal roof is $22,744. And the brick deduct is $14,500. This is from, if I get the Poulos Construction.
How do you spell that?
Poulos. Total project cost, $561,000. Deduct for the lower level, $62,000. Additional cost for the metal roof is $24,000. And the brick deduct is $16,000. Next is some Garrett Construction. Total project cost, $566,500. The deduct for not finishing the lower level is $40,000. The additional cost for the metal roof is $26,000. And the brick deduct is $6,000. Next is from Miller Davis. Total cost is $599,000. The deduct for not finishing the lower level is $59,000. Additional cost for the metal roof is $25,000. And the deduct for the brick is $10,200. That is the last one. Yeah. If anybody would like to look at those, go on in there to look through the door and you can review anything you'd like. Next, sewage department head. Oh, okay, my bad. We have request for funding proposals. This is from First Source Bank. The amount is $450,000. It's a draw to term loan. It's a 5-year fixed, 10-year amortization. Rate of 2.77%. And it will be repriced in 5 years at 2.25% above the 5-year swap curve rate for the taxable rate, then converted to a new tax exempt rate. No documentation fees. And it's an unsecured loan. Next is Porter Bank. It's a financing of $450,000. The term is 10 years at the Wall Street Journal Prime minus 1.5%, which is 2.25% fixed for 5 years and adjusting in 5 years. The rate would be effective at the time of closing the end mortgage loan. And that's the interest rates that were effective on March 8th. Monthly payments will be $4,191.18. Not include insurance or property taxes. Next is Horizon Bank. The amount is $450,000. The interest rate is 2.64% with deposit relationship, or 3.63 without a deposit relationship. Closing fees of $1,000. Terms 123 months. 3 months construction followed by 120 months of principal. And it's just those three. Just three. Okay, take those under advisement. Anything else on the, here we go. Sewer.
No updates on the sewer and water.
Okay, water.
On the water department, I just wanted to bring up the water tower. I'm gonna, working with Ethan and Dan to come up with a bid spec, I guess, for the demolition of the tower, and making sure that we have everything included with that when we do hire a contractor, and make sure it's open to everyone.
And then also, we've been kind of looking at South Coast about renewing or renegotiating that, or
I dictated a letter today that's going to go out to their attorney, asking for a time to meet with representatives from South Coast on the next couple of weeks, so we can discuss both the sewer and the water maintenance agreements. And I know that we've discussed this before, but I think this would be helpful, if we could, if Tom and you, and speaking with Dan, could kind of put together, at least just to remind them of all of the services that we're providing to them right now, and perhaps even if we can go so far as to show how many hours per week or per month our employees are spending doing South Coast tasks, I think that will help our conversation with them.
okay, because what we're doing is way beyond what it was ever meant to be.
Well, I mean, I think those agreements were signed in 2008. I mean, and certainly, I don't even recall when they were signed, if South Coast was in the process of connecting on or was connected on, but they need to be revisited, if nothing else, including, the payment and
In eight they were already on.
Okay.
So, okay. Excellent. Anything else on streets?
Just let you know that Tom and I are working on an asset management plan for the streets in order to try and get qualified for a grant from the state.
Okay.
That's it.
And you'll probably be working tonight.
Yeah.
Parks, porta potty floats.
The most exciting thing ever.
We'll give you that. We'll just don't run with that.
Oh, I know. This is just as important. Alright, so we got Johnny on the spot. From North Jefferson. So I'm just gonna read everything. So, first I'll start with the total, 3,540. And then, it would be the quantity 2 regular restrooms with hand sanitizer twice per week service, and 1 handicap restroom with hand sanitizer and twice per week service for 2,415. Then 1 for Main Street Park, handicap restroom with sanitizer twice per week service, $945. And then Pumpkin Festival in October, they'll move the restrooms to and around Prairie Meadow Park for Pumpkin Festival. Service 4 restrooms Friday, Saturday, and Sunday during Pumpkin Fest, $180. And again, I'll repeat the total, $3,540.
Okay.
And that is Johnny on the spot. Johnson & Johnson Septic Service. Okay, so the season total is going to be $2,790. And then the description, quantity, one for Main Street Park is a handicap restroom with hand sanitizer serviced on Mondays and Fridays for $100. Prairie Meadow Park, one handicap restroom with hand sanitizer serviced Monday and Fridays, $100. Then two regular restrooms with hand sanitizer serviced on Monday and Fridays. It's going to be $170 total. And then for the Pumpkin Festival, 4 units, $200. And that is a total of $2,790. And this is Johnson & Johnson Septic Service.
Is there only two?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Johnson's was the lowest by
yeah,
about
so,
$750.
and they're all the same. So 2, 1 and 1, 2, 1 and 1, and they're both twice per week. Doesn't matter what days. So, I guess I'll make a motion to approve Johnson & Johnson Septic Service for $2,790.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Conley, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to approve the quote from Johnson's for $2,790 for porta pots. Is there any discussion?
They're much lower this year than they were last year.
Competition?
Yeah.
Any other discussion or anything? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Go with Johnson. So they send a quote thing in that paperwork, I'll sign it afterwards.
Yeah, there is a signature thing.
Okay. Howard Clemens, welcome.
I had nothing to, no raises or anything, the prices will all be the same as last year, so.
Okay.
One team short right now, but I got a couple teams I'm gonna talk to, so.
Okay.
Things going pretty good.
The in-town sponsorship is $450 and the out-of-town is $5, same as last year. Umpires' fees are the same, and your director's fee is the same. So I'll make a motion that we go ahead and have Howard Clemens be the league director and follow the same plan he did this last year.
A second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff. Approve Howard Clemens for the league director for softball. Any discussion?
I had a quick question. You had emailed me prior to the meeting of the 14th. I couldn't attend, but we had talked about raising park rates and that there was gonna be
That was
something.
for just the diamond balls,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I just wanna make sure we're on
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
page. Okay.
Any other questions or anything? Mrs. Bell?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Conley? Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. How many years have you done this?
I don't know.
A lot.
Can't remember.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't remember when you did
Been a
it.
while. Been a while. I know, well, when Help was here, I was kinda running it for him too for a while, so. 10 years maybe?
Good, it's a good league, I think. Haven't heard any.
Yeah, it really was more of a family type thing. It's really nice.
When they first started doing it, started out with 4 teams.
Yeah, I probably played that.
Anything else on parks?
Nope.
Police?
For the month of February, we had 458 total calls for service, 206 traffic stops, we had 13 crashes. We did have one overdose. You guys probably saw the news with heroin. We had one overdose. 17 ordinance violations, and then we had 69 business and community policing checks. And then the last thing I have is for the Civil Service Board, we have 2 appointments, and one of our appointments, Francisco Rodriguez, moved out of town. So he forfeited his spot on the Civil Service Board. We replaced him with Dennis Walters. We did did that a couple months ago, it's my mistake, I never brought it up in a meeting,
Okay, that's one selected by the officers anyway. Okay.
so that's all I have.
Okay. Finance. Nothing, I don't think, going on. Miscellaneous?
I have some.
Sure.
What are we gonna do with, Clear Lake? It's getting close to mowing season.
It took a long time for the DNR to get the legal documents to me. They've gotten them to me and I need to go through them. Went through them initially, and what they sent to me was not what we had possibly discussed in terms of how we were gonna possibly convey that to them. So I need to have some further communication with them. And Tom and I have talked about that over the last month or two.
Okay.
Any other miscellaneous? Citizens' comments?
I've got something quick from your,
About time's up.
from your, from your friendly local chamber of commerce. We were looking at doing a community service project, and it was brought to our attention, there's a sign on, the historic sign on Main Street, for the, where the Lincoln funeral train, stopped, is in poor shape. So, we were exploring some, ideas and options to update that and renovate it, and putting some of our own Chamber of Commerce money to it. We put together a couple ideas. The ideal big bronze plaques that look nice are really expensive. So we've gone through and gotten a few donations to basically make it a nicer memorial looking thing. I talked to Bubba about any possible like ground area or issues, and he didn't see anything. So basically, before we proceed anything, we wanted to bring it before the town and make sure it was okay.
Looks cool.
That'd be very nice.
Good.
Yeah.
We were looking for a service project, and that was a need. So.
I remember when they put that original sign, that's probably the second or third sign, but
That one was put in 1965.
yeah, the ladies club or
Right.
something.
Yes.
The only issue I can think, and hopefully it's not an issue, is just to make sure that that's the town's right of way that we're putting that in. So we just, before we even proceed forward with that, we just need
Sure.
to double check those records to make sure that there's no issues there.
Anything else?
I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Last year they, trenched in fiber optic lines in water tower. What are those gonna be servicing and when?
That was original, the bank, Horizon Bank paid for a big portion of that for their banking transactions and everything. I'm not sure,
I know that we had a mild winter, so they've been sort of working on it now, they've got the communication hut is up. I think they're finished with the communication hut, if I understand it correctly, so I'd imagine you'll see them working again in the spring.
Man, it's gone all through the neighborhood in
Yeah.
Watertown. Is that for like
Yeah.
cable internet coming through?
Yeah, they'll have, TV, phone, and internet.
For like Comcast or something coming through?
No, that's gonna be, it's Acme, out of Michigan City.
Okay.
That's the company that's doing it. I know that their first priority has always been businesses, and the way that, unless they've changed, they were gonna do one phase. The first phase was gonna be business, and then they're gonna come back and do a second phase, and that was gonna be residential. So I would imagine you'll see things up and running summer, fall, cause they'll wanna get everything in place before the ground freezes next winter.
they'll be wanting to get a return on that investment. I think they were working on 421 yesterday, they were locating and it looked like one of their trucks down.
Yeah, they, initially, obviously with winter, they were gonna pack it up, but it's been so mild that every time they get a chance, they've been out here, so they maybe had a schedule.
March will probably shut them down.
Yeah.
Because the weather's bad. Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the award on the PD, you had mentioned March 22nd, 4 PM. Is that an open meeting? Is
Yes,
that when
it
they're
is.
going
It's a
to
public
award
meeting.
it?
They're gonna be under advisement, and if we award it, it'll be that time.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I got one other question.
Yes, sir.
Back in this last warm stretch that we had, lived down the Watertown place, and I got one of these portable basketball courts,
Mhm.
live in a cul-de-sac,
Mhm.
put it out there up against the curb. 2 weeks later, we got a notice to move it out of the road because of maintenance, which I've lived over there 2 years and no maintenance has been done, and low volume of traffic. Which the only thing that happens is cars go and turn around, and they don't even come from me to you, away from it when they turn. I got a slanted driveway. It's kind of hard, to have a level for the kids to play basketball on. My question is, what would it hurt to be in the corner of the cul-de-sac?
My guess is for snow, if they have snow, my personal opinion is, if you have, the kids are out and you roll it out there and they're playing, nobody's gonna have a problem. You're done with it, roll that baby back out of the cul-de-sac.
Kind of hard when you got weight in there.
I know, so they don't blow over. I understand that, but.
But I mean, we hardly, my boys, mid-teen, well, early teens now, so he knows to get out of the way if there's a car that comes,
Right.
but I was just,
I think it was probably mostly for snow, if it's left at night and they have to do it.
well, that I can understand.
But if,
Well, there's additional reasons beyond
Yeah,
that. I mean, there's safety and liability issues, and there's a lot of municipalities that they don't allow that. So,
Right.
we're not alone in doing
As
that.
we had it all last year, and nothing was ever said.
Right, and I've been chief, I guess, going on 3 years now, so I've tackled things as they come, and basketball hoops was probably a low priority I had for quite a while. Now with the building and water tower, with the expansion of water tower, if I let one person put a basketball hoop on the street, and then I have 5 other people on Stanley Drive or 5 other people on Loop that wanna put their basketball on the street, I have to tell them, okay, sure, because the guy on Stanley lives in the cul-de-sac and his is in the street. So the solution is, if you can put it on the tree lawn, none of us are gonna bother the kids out there playing ball. If you need to mess with that tree lawn a little bit to get it level so they can play basketball, at least then you don't have a car that if they're coming through is gonna hit it at night. We're flexible as much as we can, but the street is for the cars. That's the reason.
anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I was here last meeting, and we had talked about, where I live in the cul-de-sac. I just didn't know if you had looked into that, or if there's anything that you can do to help us out, because we're
Well-
still parking, we have to park on Curtis. And so it's kind of, cause
Right.
Chandler's all packed up. So I just didn't know, since we're in the cul-de-sac, and we're the only house there, is there a way to fix that problem?
I think we have to do it for all of them, but some we'll still have to take a look at.
I mean, are you gonna be able to look at it soon, or like take a peek and see what?
Just, we wanna see how this works out and we'll look into it, see about putting it in. If there's room in there, put cars when there isn't snow. On the outside, it's something we'll look at.
Well, I know, like originally, like I said, we've been there for 9 years, so
Right.
we actually planted a tree to where we knew that it wouldn't block any sidewalks, no, the plowing, we never parked there during plowing, and the mail never had an issue. We have it set to where we could park there, so we didn't have to walk, cause at night, it's very difficult to walk from Curtis all the way to our house, when it's pitch black. I mean, there's no light whatsoever there. So that's very concerning.
Okay, we'll look at it. It's not something we did right away, but we will.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? I will make a motion that we adjourn. Motion made by Albert, seconded by Shinsky to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Being done, the meeting adjourns at 7:35.